UIs of the different teams. Those are intentional. The teams are allowed to make their own. 3, 2, 1. Game start. Let's go. Polytech doing a great job getting out of the base.
Yeah,
that's something that's tripped up a lot of teams. The Sentry doing a bit of body blocking here against Purdue, kind of following their own teammates. Very interesting.
Oh, Sentry comes up right into the base, actually.
This is a brand new strat. We have not seen this before. A completely autonomous Sentry for Purdue, going on a bit of a treasure hunt.
Oh, and it's moving out again. I think it might have just made a mistake the first time around.
May have used, there's an indicator, a waypoint behind the base. It may have used that as a homing location.
Oh, okay. So the base
there we go. Purdue doing a great job with their standard. The balancing standard firing over that wheel. It's going to make you pretty impenetrable as you fight. This red standard facing off with blue standard 4. Neither robot taking a significant amount of damage yet.
Yeah, although projectiles have been launched, there's not much
red
damage.
Standard 4 landing several shots there. In the driver cam of Polystar.
They are
blue
losing
standard
health.
4. In a losing trade, but trading nonetheless. You can see a tiny bit of chip damage across. And that is the tricky and tragic projectile purchase screen that you've seen. That is the menu that can be a little tricky to some of our international teams as they're working their way through it,
and
or just the newer teams.
Yeah, and the Blues' shield has fallen, so now Purdue has the ability to just go and destroy the base.
Yeah, PolyMTL's got to make a push here, find that Sentry who's kind of paused for Purdue in a great spot, all the way at the back by the reload zone. And as I caster curse him, the Sentry keeps on chugging.
It starts moving. It was actually a pretty good position initially. It'll make it hard for them to come.
Got some shout outs to Nathaniel in the chat. We appreciate those.
And Purdue just takes control of the central buff point, trying to get that XP buff when it comes back in about 90 seconds.
Purdue having some accuracy issues here, right? They're firing a lot, trading with Poly, but both teams struggling to land a high percentage of these projectiles on the armor panels.
And we're in Purdue's perspective right now.
Purdue's driver station will not be quite this laggy. This lag that you're seeing, the stuttering that you're seeing, is because of how we're capturing that.
First blood!
Oh, and Purdue gets first blood.
Purdue's balancing standard here in the belly of the beast on the blue side of the map. As Purdue's red standard 4 comes across, there is a small invulnerability period after your robot regens, which allows Polystar's blue standard 4 to get back to the resupply zone.
And buy some more ammunition. It's really interesting how Purdue's not going for the base yet. It seems to the shields seem to be down, and it would have been pretty. They were able to get some chip damage, which would have been pretty great. However, they are still leading right now, as Polytech does not have a Sentry.
Yeah, and there's the dreaded gray screen simulator as we are in the cockpit view of Purdue as they fall. Sorry, excuse me, at Poly. Purdue now pushing up with a red standard 3.
But still attacking only the standards, or at least they're scaring them off into the supply zone.
Yeah, you've identified correctly, this is a time in the game where Purdue should be attacking the base. With a little bit of chip damage down, and kind of progress their lead.
But I guess they already have a lead. Oh, there we go. As we say it, they're getting some of the damage down, but still only slowly depleting the base health.
Projectiles flying around the field. You can see here, Purdue doing an excellent job, pretty good accuracy now, hitting that panel. Those crosshairs that are placed on the UI not always lining up with where the projectiles are actually going, but they're doing a good job. They've got a clear understanding that they need to aim up, which is the typical RoboMaster's problem.
Exactly. I mean, it's not a hit. Like, there's projectile drop off, and there's a lot to take in consideration.
Yeah, aiming is quite a bit easier this year, given the constant projectile velocity. Hoping we see higher just accuracy across all the teams, and I think we've started to see that already. Purdue's balancing bot doing a nice little Beyblade spin here.
And the other robot just trying to chill back and getting a reload of ammunition.
Purdue's Sentry didn't fire any projectiles this game, but did a lot of very impressive self-driving.
Yeah, which is something that we haven't seen that much. Only recently, only now we've been seeing sentries move, which is really nice because having the sentry move away into nice red victory.
Yeah, a pretty clear Purdue win there. About halfway through that game was done and dusted. UCSD had all functional robots loaded. It appeared that both standards were firing. Excuse me, not UCSD going.
2, 1. Let's begin. All right, there's a much faster exit of the base for Poly this time.
Ooh, for one standard, looks like standard 3, there we go, now getting out. But that's one thing that Poly is doing really well. You'll see that they purchased the projectiles, I believe, at about the same speed of Purdue. There it is.
About. Can only one robot buy projectiles at a time?
Only one robot is going to be in range of the ladle at a time, but I believe they could both be using the menu to purchase virtual projectiles.
Yeah. Okay.
A little bit of early trading going both ways here. Obviously, Poly taking the worst end of the trade as they lose 1/3 of their health to about the 5th that Purdue drops. But trading back, and that's what I'm saying. They're doing a good job. They are able to hit those armor panels. They just need to be a bit more aggressive with their projectiles, I believe.
That way they can get some more damage, some more XP, and actually have a little bit more of an advantage and make the game a little bit closer than they had last time.
You can see the overpower there from Purdue, doing a little bit of damage to their bots as well.
And the base shield has dropped for blue, making them very vulnerable. They really need to be in the center this time. Notably,
the sentry for Purdue not moving at all. It went on some pretty aggressive walks by itself in the last match, and if Poly can figure out that sentry is down, they do have the firepower they need to be able to take out a sentry. Their base will sustain some damage during, but they could do it.
I think it's necessary right now to at least get to the same level that Purdue is at. Because of the lack of sentry, it just makes it really hard for them to win if they don't be very aggressive right now.
Agreed. I agree 100% as you see them trading back. Purdue really getting the upper hand in this trade, though. Standard 4 for Poly's got to back out. He's basically one shot and he'll fall. He had a chance there.
Yeah, and Double kill!
Aced!
Yeah, blue standard 3 struggling as well. Poly
just went down.
Having some difficulties in this match as Purdue continues their dominant match. Round 2 going well for them and going a little bit faster as they start to destroy the base.
And we're here in Poly's perspective. Trying to go back to the repair center.
Now pushing up again, trying to defend their base. As you've noted, not really the play. Not only does this mean they have to face this formidable balancing bot from Purdue, but Purdue could just ignore them at this point. There's such high levels. Look at the health difference. Each segment is the same amount of health. So they've got almost triple the health of the Poly bots. They can just ignore the projectiles from Poly, chew through the base.
And they've already just secured their lead at this point. And at this point, Poly needs to be really aggressive on that sentry just to get enough, but that leaves their base vulnerable, as you said before. And it's possible that Purdue at this point just wants to focus on their CV, making sure they have good driving practice.
Yeah, and if you're Poly, it'll also be more enjoyable, right? If they go take out the sentry, they'll get a bunch of XP, they'll level up, they'll be able to drive faster, shoot at a higher rate. Launching those projectiles at a higher rate is more entertaining, right? Like you're upgrading the projectile launcher. As they do take the center buff, they're going to get a little bit of XP coming across here, bumping them up to level 3.
But they really need to take out this balancing standard, which is doing a lot of damage to their base right now. It's just melting through. Oh, I guess chipping right now.
Yeah, reminder that these standards do half damage to structures, so 5 damage per projectile.
Oh, there we have Poly trying to do like a body block situation, but it's just not working.
1 minute left to go. Purdue definitely taking round 2 here. Poly hopefully able to spend some of these projectiles. This is the game state that I was mentioning earlier, right? When you have 800 gold and 300 unlaunched projectiles and you're so far behind in levels,
you just need to
open it up.
Is there a max amount of gold that a team can have?
No. You could go through a whole game and not spend your gold.
But that's just not good. There's no utility at that point.
Exactly.
One thing I have noticed is that Blue's robots don't Beyblade, they don't spin around, while Purdue's do spin, which is very interesting because that just makes it much harder for Purdue's bots to be hit, while Blue's just kind of give them the target.
Yeah. Hey, Astrojack. Thanks for hopping on. Yeah, that is a Segway style bot. So this year there are 2 teams fielding balancing standards. The balancing standards have a passive buff here where they're able to actually drive and launch projectiles with their wheel facing forward, a little bit like the little kids playing laser tag that cover up their sensors and fire. It's a lot harder to return fire and actually hit their armor panels. But obviously the engineering challenge of designing a balancing standard that can compete is also quite significant.
And we got another red victory.
Great job from Purdue, 2-0. They'll continue to keep on going. Hopefully their Sentry, hopefully we'll get to see the Sentry